But I have to tell you guys, honestly, it's not the first time I made my kids pretend. Okay, one time we were at Disneyland. I'm for real. One time we were at Disneyland, and this was when I was a single dad, and I was there with kids ages 7, 6, and 2. If you've ever been to Disneyland with kids, that is not the happiest place on earth. But so we're getting in line for the Small World, right? And we didn't have money for Fast Pass. And look, you guys know if you have kids, before you get in line, you say to everybody, hey, does anyone have to go to the bathroom? No, I don't know. So we get in line, and we're in line for like 15 minutes. My oldest son, Trevor, he's 7, and he's like, I gotta pee right now, I gotta pee right now. And I was like, okay, we can do this. Does anybody else have to pee? My daughter, Caitlin, no. Jacob, no. I go, okay, we're gonna go pee, we're gonna get back in line. We go pee. On the way to pee, I see a wheelchair being pushed up to the front of the line. And I was like, well, there's the original Fast Pass, you know what I mean? So I'm just clocking it, you know. We get back in line. My daughter, 10 minutes later, we're in line. I gotta pee right now. I was like, but Jacob, do you have to pee? He's like, no, I definitely don't have to pee. And I was like, okay. We go take her pee, we get back in line, we're in line 5 minutes, Jacob shits his pants. And by the way, you know the age of the kid when they shit their pants and you ask them if they're pooping and their face is like, and it looks like their head's gonna pop off their fucking shoulders. I go, are you pooping? He was like, we change his diaper. I get back and I'm like, forget this. I've already been in line 35 minutes, I'm at the end. So I say to the kids, I go, hey, who wants to ride on a chair with wheels today? And my oldest son was like, isn't that for handicapped people? And I said, well, we're not handicapped. And I said, not only that, you don't have to pretend to be handicapped. At Disney, guys, if you fall and you hurt your knee, they're gonna put you in a wheelchair. They don't want a lawsuit. I go, you just gotta pretend you hurt your knee. I go, who wants to do that? My daughter was like, and girls are so different than boys, man. Can I tell you, we were like half a mile away from the wheelchair. She was already limping. And I go, you don't have to do it yet. She goes, no, I just want to see which leg I do it better with. Girls learn early, dude. We were like 100 yards from the wheelchair. She started crying. She could make herself cry at 6. Girls young already know how to manipulate emotions. Guys, when she was 5 years old, I walked into her room. I found her by herself in front of her mirror practicing crying. I turned to my wife. I go, you know, whoever marries her is fucked. The best joke I ever played on my kids. I'll tell you why this is my favorite. Because I didn't even pull it on them. They pulled it on themselves. We were at Petco, and my daughter walks up to me. She was probably 5 or 6. And she walks up, and she's just, I know I didn't eat my breakfast. I know I didn't eat my breakfast. And I promise you when I get home, I will eat my breakfast. I promise you. But can I have a cookie? And I go, babe, I don't have any cookies. I didn't bring any cookies. It's morning time. She goes, no. I want one of the Petco cookies.
Cruel.
And I go, show me what you're talking about. Show me right now. Now, for those of you who have never been out of the house before to a Petco, what you don't know, they have these big, giant open bins of dog treats, and some of them look exactly like chocolate chip cookies. So she walks up and she goes, I go, you wanna eat that cookie? And she goes, and I go, okay.
I was pissed.
Dude, because he ate his breakfast. He was like, I ate my breakfast. I ate my breakfast. He was like 3, stomping around. I ate my breakfast. And he was like, I want a cookie. I go, no, yeah, you don't get so loud about it. You want a cookie? And he goes, yeah. I go, okay. Now, my oldest son is probably 7 or 8, and he's looking at them, but he's not taking his eyes off of them. And he's talking to me, and he goes, that's dog food, right?
And I said, yeah. And then I said to him, do you want a cookie? We were poor, man, so
It was a cruel trick.
My rule at my house was that, like, yo, man, if I give you a treat and you don't finish it, you don't get that treat again. Well, I didn't think of these as treats. I thought of them as a joke. But they thought of them as treats, so they both just popped them in their fucking mouths. And I was like...
And if I had to not choose one word to describe a Petco cookie, ladies and gentlemen, it's moist.
Yeah.
Them motherfuckers are
It took a long time for them to chew that.
Yeah.
By the way, for those of you who aren't laughing are either children or don't have kids. You got a question? Yeah.
Like, did you ever go back to that restaurant that you walked through?
Did I ever go back to the restaurant? So what he's referring to, I happened to shit my pants on my first date with my wife. Somebody was like, when they asked me that, like, when was the second date? I was like, she took a couple of days to think it over, I'm sure. Quick little briefing on what happened. We were out. I had been out the night before, and I had been drinking a lot. I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. I found out that I make bad life decisions when I drink. You might be here with one of yours tonight. I don't know. So, you laughed a little too hard at that one. Okay, all right. So I was out with her, and my stomach was a little fucked up, but I had talked to her on the phone. I really liked her, and I didn't want to not show up. And so I felt a sneeze coming on. And I am like a loud mouth sneezer. I didn't want to scare her on her first date, so I plugged my nose. And when I plugged my nose, my sneeze came out my asshole. It was a butthole sneeze is what it was. And she for sure noticed that something was wrong, because I'm sure my face was. And she said something like, yeah, it's a pretty magnificent night. I feel it too. I'm like, I hope you don't feel this. That would be way more powerful than I thought it was. And I didn't know what to do, man, because I had never met this girl, and I had shit in my pants. And so I was like, I don't know what to do. As I was thinking about it, she said to me, she goes, hey, you got to use the restroom. And I was like, you got to use the restroom. So when you shoot to the bathroom, look, here are the two options. Leave, which was the first thought, but it wasn't like a little shit. When I walked out, everyone would have known that I had shit in my pants. So I was like, I just got to tell her. I got to tell her and just hope she's a human, So she sits down and I go, hey. She goes, yeah. I go, I got to tell you something. And she goes, you can tell me anything. And I said, well, we're about to find out, aren't we? And I just said, I shit myself. This is how I knew I was going to marry her, dude. She looked me dead in the eye and she goes, I knew it. She was like, I'm sitting 2 feet away from you. You don't think I could smell that you have shit in your pants? Everybody in this section knows you have shit in your pants. And I was like, what? The guy sitting next to me was like, yeah, dude, when are you leaving? So yeah, first date. Yeah, I went back. I'm going to tell you something right now. I asked her, I said, hey, this is like our fourth date. I go, you want to go out to dinner? She goes, yeah. I go, you want to go back to that place where I shit myself? She goes, yeah, I never did get to finish my meal.
I have to tell you a couple things. My real question isn't who throws a dildo at somebody. My real question is who brings one to the show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess if you got it and you're looking for them to throw, that makes sense to me. But who's like, oh, I forgot my dildo. You know what I mean? Like, I really got to check what kind of advertising I'm putting out. Because if she was like, I can't forget my tiny little dildo tonight, I gotta make sure I bring that. I'm not gonna lie to you, the balls, for real, they look like my dog's nuts before we got him cut. Yo, I wish it was one of those things that just never stopped doing this. Magic 2 balls. Tell me if it's true. Yo, for real, it looks like an Olympic high dive board. Just. But like. Just the way it's shaped, it looks like a real curious dick. Like. Like it's looking for answers. Like. Oh, dude, this could be the whole show. I'm telling you right now, I could do this all fucking night. Are you kidding me? God damn. Oh my God. All right. Yeah, all right.